Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Misty Meadows Moneyline. Um, I posted the video without Nick yesterday on the
Yes.
Thursday night game, and I
Thank
went
you
through
for
that
that.
game. Thought that the score was going to be low in that
Absolutely
game,
not.
and it was not at all.
Absolutely not.
So we complete. I mean, the wheel picked the Chargers. I picked the Chargers in the video. I don't know what you ended up picking.
Yeah, I
I think
agreed.
I
Yeah.
but okay.
I had it
You agree
filled
with
in
the
on the
Chargers,
Excel
so
doc.
yeah, dude, we're
Tough.
we a bad beat, really, really bad beat. But in other news, um, kind of along the same lines, but after the game today, Brandon Staley and the general manager both got fired because, not just because of that game, but because of the whole season, really.
The
It's
coaching is terrible. I think personally for me is the coaching is the problem in the Chargers franchise.
really,
I
it's
Yeah.
there's only so much you can do without Justin Herbert, but also like, I
You
mean,
know,
come on,
even
this whole
without him,
season's
something
been
still should have clicked. Like
yeah,
I think
this whole
this goes to show that the problem is not solely Justin Herbert.
no,
It's a lot of the
nah, no.
team as a whole.
Yeah, it's like Justin Herbert is a great QB, but he has like the highest loss
Oh my
percentage
God!
since like 2020. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Since
it's
his
just
draft,
absolutely
yeah.
ridiculous. I don't know, dude. I feel so bad for him because he's just on like such an abysmal team, like a team
Yeah.
that just can't get things together, can't click. So I don't know, but 42 points in the first half is crazy from a team who
Yeah.
lost 3-0 the week before.
Yeah, they the whatever the over under for total points was, Raiders had that themselves in the first
Mm-hmm.
half. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
bad
dude, that
beat for
was
anybody who took the under on a primetime
yeah,
game.
seriously, that's my fault, dude. I clearly don't know what I'm talking about.
think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring than we expected. I think it's going to go over whatever point spread it is because of these two not so great
Oh.
defenses. But
But yeah, so after a crazy game like that, we're moving into this week's games. This video is just going to be Saturday's games, 3 Saturday games, and then tomorrow we're going to record the rest of the games for Sunday because from here on out we don't have any more bye weeks left.
Yes.
We have every team playing every week, and the last week of the season is all Sunday games. So we got to split it up accordingly as best as we can. But
Yeah.
you know,
And
like I
the
said,
oh sorry, I was gonna say
but
the good news is college football is over and we have the Saturday games now, so that means that you guys get a couple more videos each weekend until
yeah,
the last weekend when it's all Sunday again.
yeah, yeah. And again, like I mentioned in the last video last night, this is my second to last recording. This is my last week, NFL week in Switzerland, and then this is my second to last recording, and then we're going to be in person, hopefully recording for the last, I think, would be the last two
Yes.
weeks of the season, and then
Yeah.
going into the playoffs as well.
Yes.
So we have that coming up, which I'm really, really looking forward to. It's going to be an awesome stretch for the rest of the season. We got a lot of good games coming up this week. Saturday games should be pretty decent, but we're mainly looking forward to all those Sunday games. I mean, you just can't beat a football Sunday. It doesn't really matter who plays, you just can't beat it. So
Yeah.
without further ado, let's go right into the Thursday games. We are
Saturday.
looking at the Vikings at the Bengals for the first game. Um, the money line for the Bengals is minus 162, and Vikings is plus 136, and the spread is Bengals -3. Um, we have the wheel picking the Bengals. I'm going to go through the Vikings real quick, touch on some subjects. There's a lot to unpack in this game here. So we're going to start off with Josh Dobbs being benched indefinitely. So we have Nick Mullins coming in. Mullins is the fourth different starter for this team, which is crazy to think about. Nobody
Yeah.
expected it.
Wild.
It was just a complete bounce around, like just from Cousins getting hurt to Hall coming in and him not doing anything to picking up Dobbs, and now Dobbs is benched. So we haven't seen really anything from Mullins yet this season. So hopefully, he can get something going for this team. 3-0 win last week. That was pretty upsetting, especially, the team that lost were the Raiders, who just dropped 63 on a Thursday night football
Yeah,
game.
wild.
Apparently Amazon is ramping up those games now for some odd reason. No idea. But Jefferson did go out with a chest injury last week, just after coming back from IR. So sorry to all the fantasy managers for that one. That really stinks. But he is back this week. He's been practicing and he will play. After this week, the Vikings, who are 6-7, the Vikings, who are 7-6. No, yes. Wait, can you double check that for me?
Yeah, I'm
I
looking it up.
think they're 7-6.
You can keep going. I'll yell it out.
Okay. Um, they played the Lions twice in their last 3 games of the season, which, we've seen this Lions team. It's pretty crazy how good their offense really is.
7-6.
An important 7-6. Okay, I thought so. An important note for the defense is that they lost their right tackle, Brian O'Neill, who is out for Saturday with a sprained ankle. Now, the reason this is so important is he recorded 5 total sacks himself against the Raiders last week. So clearly that's a big part of their defense, and losing him is, it's just not going to be good for them this weekend and their whole defense. The run game for the Vikings has been pitiful this year. Madison being 21st in the league in rushing yards with only 660 yards and 0 touchdowns. He is out for Saturday's game, which means Ty Chandler will fill in. We haven't really seen too much about him this whole year. I think he has a little over 200 yards and a touchdown. We'll have to see how he performs against the Bengals and their improving run defense. A win here is very important for them, as it could put them in a better position in the NFC North. So we're looking at a good, important game for the Vikings, and hopefully Nick Mullins can make something happen.
Yeah, they're hoping for a lot of things to click here against the Bengals. And then looking at the Bengals side of things, statistically, the Bengals defense is still one of the worst in the league, but they have improved, as Riker said, in the run game. Jake Browning, their backup quarterback, has been standing out this season, where backup quarterbacks are pressured into the starting role. There have been so many quarterback injuries, and he's one of them that's actually doing well. In the backup position, he led the team to back-to-back wins against the Jags and the Colts, and in each of those 2 wins, he had a combined 629 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. On the receiver side of things, Ja'Marr Chase is the front of the wide receiver race with 1,092 yards, 7 touchdowns. The second is Tyler Boyd with only 522 and 2 touchdowns. If Browning can get the rest of the wide receivers involved, there's a good chance for the offense to succeed. I know they've used Mixon, and I'm drawing a blank on the other running back, but they've thrown a couple of passes to them throughout the season, but they need to get the wide receivers in action. Speaking of Joe Mixon, he's ranked 14th in rushing yards with an average of 3.8 yards per carry. The run game needs to improve so that the Bengals can come out in games as a dual threat. We've seen a lot on one side and seen a lot on the other side, but if they can get both of them and be that dual threat, that they will definitely succeed in the next couple of weeks prior to the playoffs. This team is still very much in the playoff run, despite losing Joe Burrow. They're looking for a win to continue the streak and increase their chances at a wild card spot in a very competitive AFC standing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the Bengals are sitting last.
Yes.
I mean, they might be 7-6, but they're also behind the rest of the 3 teams in that division, which is absolutely insane to me. I think the most surprising is the Steelers that are still in it, and the Browns too. I mean, the Browns, their QB room has just been all over the place too. So it's a very, very interesting division. But I'm also eager to see how Browning, if the Bengals make the playoffs, how Browning actually would play, because if he gets in that playoff setting after playing like less than half of the season, how is he going to perform compared to Joe Burrow? You know what I mean? It's like he was just thrown in this position. I don't know how many games he's played before this, but I'm eager to see if the Bengals can actually make it happen, and if they can, is Browning gonna come through maybe a 7th seed if they make it?
Yeah, and I know it's not exactly the same because obviously Joe Burrow is going to come back, but this is a similar story to Brock Purdy last season, where like he picked up late in the season, took them into a deep
Yep.
playoff run. We'll have to see how it goes with this team, but it's going to be an exciting end of the season for them for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And like we said, the wheel picked the Bengals, so I'm riding with the Bengals here. I believe in Jake Browning. I think he's playing really, really well. And the Vikings are kind of all over the place. I'm not really sure how Nick Mullins is going to play. That team is kind of just, up in the air as of now.
Yeah. Uh, we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, I agree. Definitely taking the Bengals here. Um,
Yeah.
Especially since the Vikings are still like rewriting their offense every time they step on the field.
Seriously, dude. Seriously.
Yeah. With that, we're going to move on to the Saturday at 4 game. We have the Steelers at the Colts. The Steelers are plus 105, and the Colts are minus 125 for the money line, and the Colts are minus 1.5 spread. I'll start off with the Steelers. They led up a huge upset against the Patriots on Thursday night with a final score of 21-18. I already covered the recap of that game with my reaction video last week, but
Yeah,
moving
go check it out.
forward,
Link in the description.
yeah, get on that. Put that down there.
Yeah, yeah.
Moving forward, Kenny Pickett has one more week to recover from ankle surgery before he can come back to practice, which means that Mitch Trubisky will return as the starting quarterback for this game. Trubisky had an unfortunate game last week, not even hitting 200 passing yards, throwing an interception. But he did record a touchdown in both passing and rushing, as well as a 2-point conversion. Um, the receiving core looked pretty evenly distributed, but they'll need to bring it up if they want to help progress the ball down the field a bit more and more often. The run game was also shut down against this Patriots defense, and Trubisky was the lead rusher with 30 yards. The offense will have to return to their first game without Canada if they want to perform well enough to compete in this game against the Colts. On top of that, if their offense can perform like if their defense can perform like they did in the fourth quarter of the Thursday night game, then they should be able to hold the Colts to a minimum. Their defense has what it takes to keep the score low, but they were kind of holding back last week against the Patriots.
Yeah, for sure. That was another game that we all thought was going to be really low scoring.
Yes.
Again, Bailey Zappi surprised us, just like Aiden O'Connell surprised us this weekend.
Yeah.
So, moving into the Colts, last week the Colts offense really got shut down. Minshew only had 240 yards and a touchdown with one interception. Not not what you want to see from a quarterback nowadays, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just not good enough. While the pass game looked fairly similar to what we've seen, the run game is where they were really hindered. Zach Moss had 28 yards through 13 carries, and Trey Sermon had 13 yards through 3 carries. So not efficient at all. And we saw Zach Moss being a lot more efficient earlier in the season, but now he's just kind of, left in the dust. Their defense did let up 31 points and recorded no sacks, but was able to come away with a pick six. If the Colts can maintain their pass game and bring back the usual run game, then they will be able to keep this game. They will be able to stay in this game with the Steelers. Um, the Colts have been, that bipolar team. They
Mhm.
just keep winning games and then they keep losing games, and it's just kind of all over the place with how they play. They're one of the most unpredictable teams in the league, honestly.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of up and downs from them. Like they have a win and they play well, and then they have a win and they
Right,
play poorly, and then they have a loss
right.
but they play well, and then they have a loss but they play
Hmm.
poorly. Like they've been a combination of
Exactly.
all four like throughout the season. So very hard
Yeah,
to predict with them.
exactly. So I think here, I mean, this is such a tough matchup because it's two middle of the line teams
Yes.
also fighting for a playoff spot. Every matchup this week is fighting for a playoff spot, to be
Yes.
completely honest with you,
This
except
is
for the
crunch time for
Patriots.
a lot of teams.
Yeah, except for the Patriots. They're already out. But yeah, here to be completely honest with you, I'm probably going to go the Colts. I don't trust the Steelers enough right now to make something happen. Trubisky is not. I mean, he didn't play well last week. He got thrown in the starting position again, Kenny Pickett can't perform well. It just really depends if this, offensive coordinator can make something happen. But I'm going to go with the Colts this week.
Yeah, and similar to last week, like I said, the only way that the Steelers walk away with a loss is if their quarterback doesn't play well and if they get shut down in the run game. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much exactly how it happened. So, um,
Yeah.
Colts defense looks like they can handle this Steelers offense. So I'm gonna agree and say the Colts here.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Last one for the Saturday games. Saturday at 8 o'clock. I'm so excited to have Saturday football back.
I know, dude. I
It's so
absolutely love
fun.
it. Like,
It's so
and I
much
didn't
fun.
know until you
Yeah.
texted me. I had no idea.
Yeah, when I was writing up all the stats, like the money lines and the spreads for each of the games, they were just mixed in randomly. They weren't like Saturday, Sunday ordered. Um, and then we'll talk about it later, but the Chiefs game got rescheduled. The Chiefs Patriots game was supposed to be Monday
Oh,
night. So
really?
so when I was making that changes, because I had written the order of the games out like weeks ago,
Right.
I saw that I had to make the change for the Chiefs game, and I was like, wait a minute, they're Saturday games now. So then I had to make the changes for that and put them at the top of
Gotcha.
the list too.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
very exciting to have Saturday games back. But the
Absolutely.
Saturday night game, we have the Broncos at the Lions. Broncos money line plus 185, and the Lions minus 225 with the spread minus 4.5 in favor of the Lions. The Broncos won their division matchup last week against the Chargers with a much larger point differential than anyone expected. The final score was 24-7, and Russell Wilson threw for 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, and did have an interception. The receivers Sutton and Troutman each had a touchdown. Sutton was the leading receiver, 3 catches for 62 yards. And then in the run game, Javonte Williams had 66 and a touchdown through 16 carries. And then Julian McLaughlin had 25 yards through 5 carries. Their offense looks good. Very similar to the past 7 weeks that we've seen. Their offense is really clicking in this back half of the season. Their record in the past 7 games is 6-1, taking down the Chiefs, the Packers, the Bills, the Vikings, and then their one loss is to the Texans
Yes. Yeah.
in the past couple of
Jaleel
weeks.
Jaleel McCockiner.
Oh, dude, you can't.
I had to, dude.
All
It's
right,
it's exactly how it sounds, man. I had to.
fair enough.
Yeah. The Lions, tough loss to a division rival last week with a score of 28-13, favoring the Bears, and nobody expected that.
Yeah,
Again, really nobody expected that. So Jared Goff was held to a minimum in the pass game, but the run game looked decent. Both Gibbs and Montgomery had 66 rushing yards, and Gibbs had a touchdown. Facing a similar caliber defense this week means they will have to overcome and correct accordingly if they want to come away with the win here. The Lions also another team that reminds me of the Dolphins, right? You look at
yes,
this team and you're like, wow, a really strong offense and a semi okay defense, but they can't beat the winning record teams and even the losing record teams. I mean, they're losing
yeah,
games that they should not be losing, right? And you see that with a lot of teams this season. It's kind of like an up and down, a lot of different upsets every week, and that was one of them that we just didn't see coming. We don't see the Lions losing to these bad teams
yeah,
very often, but when it does happen, we're always surprised because this team is like a really high caliber playoff team. When you look at the players they have and the stats that they're putting up every week.
yeah. And I'm pretty sure they're 9-4 right now. They're leading their division, which makes sense because they have played so well. Yeah, 9-4. But
Yep.
you know, 4 losses to a couple of lackluster teams.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
Um,
I mean,
yeah.
I think
How many times are we gonna do this? You go.
I think this is a tough matchup. Honestly, this is a tough matchup. Honestly, I like both teams in this matchup. I really do. I think this is going to be a really good game. At the end of the day, the Lions are at home. the spread favors the Lions by a decent amount of points. I don't always like going against the underdogs because of how many games have been lopsided this year.
Yes.
But I think I'm going to go with the Lions. They're looking to improve to 10-4. It's really, really important for them. Keep atop that NFC North. Really prove to the other teams in the NFC that they can, do what they do best. And hopefully, they clinch a 4th or a 5th seed, considering the fact that there's 3 other 10-3 teams in the NFC right now. So I'm going to go with the Lions.
Yeah, and as much as I like the story of starting 1-5 and then following 6-1, I don't think that the Broncos are gonna keep that up enough to get into the
No.
playoffs, and I think that starts with their loss here to the Lions. So I'm going with the Lions here.
Yeah, I think so. So, yeah. So that recaps the last night's game, the Chargers Raiders game, and recaps is a preview for the 3 games tomorrow. We got Bengals money line, Colts money line, Lions money line is the 3 we're picking here, and we're only going against the wheel one time in the Steelers and the Colts game. So, yeah, that's gonna be it from us.
Yeah, it's a quick one.
Yeah, definitely a quick one, but we're running out of time. Our schedules are kind of offsetting, not really working out in our favor, but we're making the most of it. We really are. So, still pushing out as much content as we can. I've been
Yeah.
a little slacking off, I should say, on the TikTok page, but I will be posting a lot this weekend. Also, I post a lot on Twitter too, on my main account, and I post a lot of like the links to the YouTube videos that we keep releasing and stuff like that. So feel free to check that out. And I get into a lot of arguments with some Miami Dolphins fans, which is really entertaining.
Yes,
so,
I love that.
So, it's never ending on that goddamn site. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, anything else you want to add or?
Yeah, I've been keeping up with all the stats that the wheel and our account have posted. I keep up with that on the Instagram page. I post just a lot of stories, and then I shoot out a couple of comments here and there, and then I always love getting the notifications like so and so responded to your comment, and then I read the thread that Rikers put out, and it's just some Miami fan getting butthurt.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun to keep up with. So
it is. Yeah,
check us out on those other social media sites. It's fun. It's
definitely feel free to check us out on social media sites. We're still trying to come up with some different segments that we could do for the bigger podcasts going forward, because we've kind of, just been us talking. We want to do a little bit more every week, but we're still trying to figure that out. So, coming up with ideas, but feel free to follow us on our socials. We'll put them in the description, and hit the subscribe button. Just do it.
Yeah,
it's free. It's completely free.
Join it.
Join the Misty Meadows money line.
It's fun. It's something new every week. You never know how our schedule's gonna line up. It's something different every time.
Exactly.
And it's always random. There's random outbursts of like funny comments and some out of pocket things that we may or may not cut out. We have fun making these, so we have fun making these. So we hope that you guys get a good laugh out of it too when you guys watch.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's gonna be it from our side. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Saturday. We will be back tomorrow, so look for another post tomorrow.
Yes.
And hope you guys have a good one. Enjoy the Saturday games and win your bets. Just win them. That's just all you have to do is just win them, and you'll have a great Saturday. So, all right, peace out.